I picked up this book and went done in one day. We're not going to talk about it. We're here to talk about the books. It's heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. Crazy concept. I know. It was a wild ride. I was not expecting it at all. No questions asked. You are killed. You know what? I don't need to apologize, but I wanted to be a trophy holder to the whole series. Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michaela. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're talking about all the books that I read in June, and June was such a good reading month for me. If you see my forehead or anything else red, yeah, I did get sunburned over the weekend, but we're not going to talk about it. We're here to talk about the books, so let's just hop right into it. Without further ado, I'm going to pull up my Goodreads so we stay on track. The first one that I finished was Wisteria. She is part of the Belladonna series. Up here, the cover is absolutely stunning. The inside pages as well. I think either this one or the first one is my favorite, because the first one you don't really know anything that's going on, but this one you know the characters and like the whole point of it and like the magic system and all of that. And then there's another one coming, I think called Holly or something, so I'm sure she'll be just as beautiful as the other ones. This one I read from May 28th to June 3rd, and I rated it a 4 stars. I can't really get into what this one is about, but I liked the tropes and the banter in it very much, so that's why it's a 4 star. If you don't know what the series is about, basically the first one, this follows a completely different character. It's about a girl that everyone thinks is cursed because everybody around her seems to die, and she's an orphan going from foster home to foster home, and she ends up at the estate. I forget what it's called, but anyways, so she's staying with this family. The wife gets murdered, and so she makes a deal with death to figure out who killed her and what all happened there. And then also the daughter is sick, and so she has to figure out why the daughter is sick. So yeah, she is working with death and then one of the stable boys she's working with, and you gotta figure out what happened, basically. The magic system was pretty cool in this, and then also this one, you get to see even more of it. So probably this one is the favorite of the series. So 4 stars for this one. The next book that I read was Releasing 10. This is the 6th one in the Boys of Tommen series. Check for trigger warnings before you jump into the series at all. It's tough. It's really tough. All the things that they go through. This follows Lizzie, and if you read the other series, you get a glimpse of her and you kind of learn to hate her. But in this one, I was expecting for it to pick up in their teen years, but this starts in her childhood and all the stuff that she's had to deal with. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder from a very young age, so she's having to deal with that, medication, having to try to make friends, it being really difficult, also kind of getting implemented into a friendship group, and all the sort of things that come along with just life being tough as a kid. And then you have all of this on top of it, and for her to be dealing with bipolar disorder at such a young age, and you see the inner dialogue that she has too. Heartbreaking. Oh my goodness. And then I felt bad that I hated her in the other books, because then you really understand why she was the way that she was. So, Lizzie, I'm sorry. How long did it take me to read this one? I read this one from the 1st to the 4th, and I rated it a 4 star. The next one that I read was The Named by Florence Naps, and oh my goodness, this isn't my normal genre to begin with. This is like a historical fiction, general fiction, whatever have you. But anyways, the concept of this I've not seen before, I don't think. So anyways, so Cora and her husband Gordon have Maya and then a newborn baby. So Cora and Maya go to the state house, whatever, to register their son to be named, and this is where the title comes in. So there's 3 names that Cora has been thinking about. She's been wondering, do I go ahead and name him Gordon just to appease my husband because his name is Gordon, his dad's name is Gordon, his grandfather was named Gordon, his great-great-grandfather, so on and so forth. So the husband wants the son to be named Gordon, of course. And there's tons of quotes in here too that kind of go along with it. And so one of them being Cora and Gordon are talking about him being named Gordon, and she's thinking to herself, do you not see the risk, she wanted to say? Do you not see that calling our son Gordon might mean he ends up like you? But she couldn't, because that was the whole point, so that the son would be like his father. And then later on Maya and Cora are at the state registry, whatever place, and Maya's asking, why does it matter? To Dad, I mean, the same name thing. Cora wants to say it matters because sometimes big men feel small inside, because some people, like Gordon's father, travel through life believing themselves so far beyond improvement, they come to think their children and their children's children should all be made in their name, because sometimes their need to please previous generations is greater than their need to love future ones. Tradition is just important to some people, she says instead. Having your own name is too, though. Maybe even Dad would have liked his own one. She wonders again if she is doing this right. Any of it. All of it. If it's even the right thing for Gordon himself to be carrying on this tradition. Isn't she just teaching her daughter that keeping the peace is more important than doing what's right? Perhaps she has unwittingly sent a message that their lives are destined to follow the same path, when her real hope is for her children to tread their own. So yeah, this really goes into how the name really becomes your identity and who you are as a person. So anyways, Maya suggests, what about Bear? Like, what if we name him Bear? It means cuddly, strong, brave, all the things. And then Cora wants to name him Julian. So there's 3 different names, and then the timelines. Here's the thing. So it goes into 3 different timelines. So one where she had named him Gordon, one where she had named him Bear, and one where she had named him Julian. So it follows each of those timelines from right after she had named him and going home, and the husband's reaction when they're a little bit older, and then when the kid is growing up, figuring out who he is as a person and all of that, and how it affects his family and his own personal life and all of the things around him. I underlined so much in here. A trigger warning in here is that the husband is abusive, but I loved this one. I started this on the 5th and I finished it on the 6th, and I rated it a 4 stars. 4.5 probably, or more. The next one that I read was The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth, and oh my goodness, I read this in one day. Literally, I sat there, I picked up this book and went, done. In one day. I was not expecting the turn of events that happened. I was not expecting the plot twist of what actually happened. So throughout the book, you get journal entries from Rose, and then her twin sister is Fern. And so the whole plot of this is that Fern sees that Rose has a ovulation or pregnancy test out before she leaves to go visit her husband in Europe. And so Fern thinks to herself, oh, well, I know they really want kids, but they're kind of struggling. So what if I become a surrogate for Rose? So her plan is to find a random guy to impregnate her and surprise her sister with a baby when she gets back from her Europe trip. Crazy concept, I know. So her sister is so grateful, and then she's kind of, I don't know, you get little glimpses of what Rose is like to her sister. And then Fern is also a librarian, so she works at a library. She likes things a certain way. She goes on a schedule every single day. She finds a guy, obviously, and so she's having a relationship with him, and then she's like, oh, I am pregnant. I forgot about that plan that I had to be a surrogate for my sister. Yeah, and so she tells Rose, and so the rest of the book is preparing and everything, and then the journal entries from their childhood. So in Rose's point of view, she is writing down what her mom is doing for her sister and herself. So they were jumping around different houses, and obviously, if you know, as a kid, you're like, oh, well, we're just going to different people's houses. But as an adult, you're like, okay, yeah, they were homeless, she doesn't have a job, they're partially living in a car or at someone's house, all the things. All the journal entries, and then leading up to the event that happens at the very beginning. So in a prologue, I didn't even write an end date. Oh, duh, because I read this in one day. June 8th, 4.75. I definitely want to read her other series or other books. The first journal entry is when her mom and Daniel, the guy that her mom is dating, Daniel's son Billy, and then Fern Rose, they're all going on a camping trip. And so the journal entry follows the kids going to a river and like a pond area, and then Fern and Billy are having a contest to see who can stay underwater the longest. And then Rose has to go to the bathroom. She goes off into the woods. She comes back maybe 5 minutes later, and then she sees Billy face down motionless in the water, and she goes, Fern, what have you done? So yeah, Billy's drowned, and then we don't know the truth of what really happened until the end of it, but it's a lot more than just that mystery aspect of it. You really find out who each of the sisters are as their own people, and yeah, it was a wild ride. I was not expecting it at all. The next one that I read was on my Kindle, and it was called A Flames and Fallacies by Courtney Wims. I read this from the 5th to the 10th. So I saw her on TikTok. She's an indie author. Her book got dropped from a publishing company, so she was working on trying to publish it herself. Downloaded it off of Kindle Unlimited, and she had described the book as being like a Fourth Wing and How to Train Your Dragon, because the dragon in the book is based off of Toothless, and then Fourth Wing because it has dragons. I would say it's like Aragon, because she finds the dragon egg in her father's grave and she has to basically take care of a baby dragon growing up. First of all, in the kingdom that she is, dragons, talking about dragons, dragon eggs, anything related to dragons is outlawed, and if you are seen or heard of talking about a dragon, or if you're seen with dragon items, you are killed. No questions asked, you are killed. So when she finds the egg in her father's grave, her mom tells her to go find Cole, the guy that had left for battle, or I don't know. He's a captain and he is off on a base camp somewhere. So her mom is telling her, you need to go find him and he will take you to the Dragonlands. Don't trust anybody else. The weird thing about that is her mom has been delusional and kind of like losing her mind. She's telling her this as their house is burning down, to go find Cole and all of that. Don't trust anybody else. I don't know if her mom is still alive, if she made it out of the fire or not. But anyways, I guess it takes months for her to get from her kingdom, like where her house is, to the battle camp where Colt is stationed. How did it take months? And we're just gonna gloss over that? Okay. I don't know. It seemed like a week or two at most, but I guess it's been months. I don't really know what happened there. So anyways, most of the book takes place in this camp, and I was not expecting it. I was expecting them to be traveling to the Dragonlands and to get to the Dragonlands and see stuff happening there. So for it to be just in the battle camp kind of took me out of the book, honestly. It bored me a lot of it, because in order for her to stay in the battle camp, she has to have a purpose to be there, like a reason why. Cole lies and says that she has been an apprentice for a healer, so then she becomes the apprentice for the healer that's stationed at that battle camp, and so every day she has to go to work to apprentice, and then she also has to train with everybody else. I don't know. And then Deja, the dragon, is also getting bigger, and they have to hide her in the woods too. And then there's this guy, apparently Damon Salvatore coded. He irritated me so much. Don't like the parts of the story with him in it, honestly. And then there was also some spy scenes where I was like, this seems really weird and really random to be happening right now. I'm just gonna skip along and jump right over that and continue with the bear plot of the book. Yeah, that was I would say a 2.5, but I put it as 3 stars just because at the end of the book I could see where it could go from there, so I would be more excited to read the second one. I read that one from the 5th into the 10th, and I rated that a 2.5 stars. The next book that I read is The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen, and oh my goodness, I had gone to Barnes & Noble and I had seen this several times around the store. Every single time I would pick it up like, oh, it's so pretty. I would read the back. I don't know. And then finally on the last one I was like, okay, I've picked this up 3 times now. I just need to get it. And I loved it. The whole concept of this is Lara is a princess in, what's it called? Maradrina. And so the king has had 10 or 11, 12 other daughters, and his whole mission for having that many daughters is to train them all up to become a secret assassin to marry the king of Ithacana. I think that's what the other kingdom, the Bridge Kingdom, whatever, you know, to marry the king of the Bridge Kingdom and assassinate him. So that's the whole purpose for having all of his daughters. In the beginning of the book, you see the final choosing of which daughter will go and marry the king of the Bridge Kingdom. So that was like okay, we're getting off strong on this one. So yeah, it follows her going to the Bridge Kingdom, and the whole purpose is she has to find out the entrances for the Bridge Kingdom. So the whole concept of the Bridge Kingdom is that there's this bridge going throughout all these islands, and then there's like a tunnel inside of this bridge also that nobody else knows how to get into. It's top secret. The king and special forces know how to get in, nobody else. There's also like storm seasons, and then I forget what they're called, but basically safe seasons. So during the safe seasons where there's not storms going on, all the other kingdoms around are trying to bombard and make their way into the Bridge Kingdom and infiltrate it. So Lara's whole job is to infiltrate the Bridge Kingdom, find the weak spots, find entrances into the bridge, find where the people are, the villages, all that sort of thing, and then assassinate the king. Loved it. Loved every second of it. I think it was a 4.5. Yeah, I rated this a 4.5 stars, and I read it from the 9th to the 11th. The last book that I read for this month was The Summer of Broken Rules. Very YA, and I'm sorry that I didn't love it. No, you know what? I don't need to apologize. If it's for you, it's for you, but it wasn't for me. So, basically the whole concept is Meredith and her family, they go to their family's grandparents' island, and it reminds me of the show in the book We Were Liars, where they have like a whole island and then there's different cabins in different places, houses and all of that. So it's basically like the same concept of a family island. So anyways, the whole point is to come to this island because one of the cousins is getting married. Also, what has happened is Meredith's sister Claire has died, and the whole tradition was playing assassin, which Claire was the reigning champion. So they are going to play, everybody who wants to participate are going to play in Claire's honor. Meredith teams up with one of the other guests, his name is Wit, and they're kind of like in a secret alliance type of deal where they're telling each other who has their name if they've heard it, and then also tell each other information, because if Wit has somebody that Meredith doesn't know, Wit can tell her, oh, it's this person and this is where they are, this is what they're doing, like that's kind of like their schedule for the day, and Meredith would do the same for Wit. They're in an alliance to become assassin champion. Anyways, it felt very insta-love to me, and at the very beginning Meredith doesn't want to sleep in the bedroom that she shared with Claire, and she ends up staying with Wit. And then she ends up staying with Wit for the whole week. Like, this takes place over a week. It felt very insta-love. There were so many cringy and cheesy moments where I'm like, oh. Like, I think the first time that they kiss, she literally, like, jumps into his arms and wraps her legs around him. I'm like, no, no. And just some of the things that they would say to each other, very cheesy, very YA. So, as an almost 25-year-old looking back at 16-year-old, 16, 17, 18, whatever they are, like, ugh, yeah, very cringy. So, yeah. Also, the third act breakup or conflict, I didn't think there was any reason for Meredith to be upset about this. So, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, so what, whatever, get over it type of thing. Yeah, 2 stars for this one. But the sprayed edges are really cute on the top and the bottom as well. Walmart edition. Also has really cute end papers. That was this one. And then the books that I've started. I did start The Deep. I'm on page 232. Stephen King has a blurb on the front saying, old school horror at its best. I've not been scared really at all. So this one, there's 4 scientists that have gone down to the tri-station that is 8 miles deep in the Mariana Trench. One of the scientists comes up in the pod, and it's very, 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 very questionable why he looks the way that he does. And he's dead. So, yeah. So this story follows Luke, and his brother is Clayton, and he is one of the scientists. He's like one of the smartest scientists in the world. So he's one of the people that they call to come and go to the Trist to talk to the other scientists that are there, because they haven't had communication with the other 3 scientists. They don't have video footage, they don't have cameras, comms, anything. So they get Luke to come, and Alice, she's kind of like a delivery driver, supply, whatever. So Alice takes Luke down to the Trist to talk to his brother Clayton, and then you see, I don't know what's going on. So the whole reason for this Trist station down in the Mariana Trench is to figure out the ambrosia. So this is a substance that is like a cure for everything, basically. Like, it can heal everything. And so while we're down in the station, you kind of get glimpses of what's happening with it and how they're running tests on it. And anyways, surface level, people are getting the gets. So that's kind of like the forget. You start off forgetting little things and then you forget major things, like how to breathe, and your heart forgets how to beat. So you end up dying if you get the gets. So the ambrosia, they're trying to figure out how to get it to work with humans. They haven't tested it yet as of right now. So yeah, that's the whole storyline, but it hasn't felt scary or horror vibes at all. And then now to the book haul that I got. So the first one that I got is The Wizard's First Rule. This is a long series, and then there's connected books to it. I have a list on my phone of all of the books. So here, all the books. I got Wizard's First Rule. Dead of Bones is kind of like the prequel, like the 0.5 I'm going to read after. And then all of these books go along with it. And then it goes into the last 4 that look like that. And then there's interconnected ones. These are ones I haven't found pictures for. So yeah, all of those are interconnected, I'm pretty sure. That's a long series that this is my 3rd time attempting to read the entire thing. The first time was in high school. The second time was like a few years ago. And then now we're starting it again, except now I have the physical copy and I also have it on Kindle Unlimited. I think that the first 5 or 6 are on Kindle Unlimited, but I wanted to be a trophy holder to the whole series. I'm just going to read the back of it for you, because if I try to describe this to you, I know I'm going to get off track, and it's better if I just read the back. A legend begins. In the aftermath of the brutal murder of his father, a mysterious woman, Kaylin Amnell, appears in Richard Cypress Forest Sanctuary seeking help, and more. His world, his very beliefs are shattered when ancient debts come due with thundering violence. In a dark age, it takes courage to live, and more than mere courage to challenge those who hold dominion. Richard and Kaylin must take up that challenge or become the next victims. Beyond awaits a bewitching land where even the best of their hearts could betray them. Yet Richard fears nothing so much as what secrets his sword might reveal about his own soul. Falling in love would destroy them for reasons Richard can't imagine and Kaylin dares not say. In their darkest hour, hunted relentlessly, tormented by treachery and loss, Kaylin calls upon Richard to reach beyond his sword, to invoke within himself something more noble. Neither knows that the rules of the battle have just changed and that their time has run out. That gives like a very vague description. So there's wizards, there's magic, there's the Seeker, Sword of Truth, fantastical creatures, mythical creatures, all that sort of thing. In Westland, there is no magic. There's 3 different lands. So there's Westland, a boundary, Midland, a boundary, and then Dahara. You learn about all of these different lands in the first little bit and why there are the boundaries there. There's not really any boring times, I would say, and that's not why I dropped off the books. I just simply never got the next book, and I don't know why, and now I'm determined to finish it because this series has so much in it. Love it. Love the character growth, all the little plots and the twists and the discovering things and the different peoples in the world and helping people, and then there's other worlds that you discover. It's just an amazing world to be in, and I can't wait to finish it. So I could go on and on about it. I won't. So that's what I'm reading right now. And then I had also started a couple other books on my Kindle as well. Apparently I started Daughter of No Worlds and I got maybe 27% through. But I didn't remember anything that had happened, so I just started it over again and like kind of speed read, I guess. And then I had also started Wretched, and I've just been reading that on and off, and so that's 57% through. And then I kind of started The One by John Mars, and I got 5% through, and then I also started The Other Side of Someday, and I got 18% through. So those are all the books that I started and just left there. So now I am reading Wizard's First Rule, and I am 21% through chapter 13. I'm having the best time reading it. Those are all the books that I have started. Now for the rest of the book haul. I got Ashley Poston's new book called Sounds Like Love, and I'm so excited to read it because I absolutely love The 7 Year Slip by her. It made me cry, and that's enough to make it a 5-star for me. So So I'll read the back of this for you because I don't know how to describe it because I've not read it yet. She can't get him out of her head. Joni Lark has a secret. She's one of the most coveted songwriters in Los Angeles, and yet she can't write. There's an emptiness inside her and nothing seems to fill it. When she returns to her hometown of Vienna Shores, North Carolina, she hopes that the sand, the surf, and the concerts at the Revelry, her family's music venue, will spark inspiration. But when Joni gets there, nothing is how she left it. Her best friend is hiding something, her mother's memories are fading fast, and the Revelry is closing. How can Joni write when her world is leaving her behind? Then she hears it, a melody in her head, lyricless and half-formed, an alluring and addictive voice to go with it, belonging apparently to a wry musician with an emptiness of his own. Surely he's a figment of Joni's overworked imagination. Then a very real man shows up in Vienna Shores. He's arrogant and guarded, not at all like the sweet, funny voice in Joni's head, and he has a plan for breaking their inconvenient telepathic connection. I finish the song haunting them both and hope they don't risk their hearts or their secrets in the process, because that melody, the one that's drawing them together, what if it's there for a reason? My favorite part about Ashley Poston's writing is the magical realism in her stories, so I can't wait to read all about the telepathicness of this one. The next book that I got is the second one to the Bridge Kingdom series, The Traitor Queen. Obviously, I can't tell you what's going on in this one because that would spoil the first one. All you need to know is that I am so excited for this. Like, literally so excited. And the cover, stunning. Love it. Love her. And then the last one that I got is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. So the first one is Scythe, and so this is a dystopian world where mankind has, I don't know, I guess overruled everything. Like, they've solved life's problems. There's no death, hunger, all of that. There's nothing, no diseases, no sickness, nothing. So in order to die, scythes choose who die. So in the first one, the scythe has two apprentices, two kids, a girl and a boy. They apprentice under him, and then by the end of the book he has to choose which one to further apprentice. So then he is taking them through his daily life, what he has to do, what he does when he shows up at people's houses. He's teaching them the way of the scythes, taking them to like the different conferences and everything, and then the graduation and all of that. And so it's a great dystopian world. I loved seeing it, and then I'm really excited to get into the second one. Every single time I go to the bookstore, I want to pick it up. I want to get it, and now I have, so I can finally continue. Let's see, I think there is a couple other ones. I know there's at least one or two more, I think. I am so excited about this one. I obviously can't tell you about this one or read the back to you because it is the second one, so you'll just have to read the first one to figure out what this one is. Alright, let's put all of these books away. So this is my TBR shelf, and I need to add all of the books that I just showed you to it. So I think I need to reorganize a little bit, like stack them differently. I don't know, maybe horizontally. We'll see how it goes. I think that will work, and I have room to add more books to it. But I kind of did hardcovers and like long paperbacks, dystopians, and then a couple romance, and then more fantasy, and then thriller. And then these two current reads. So I don't know how this is gonna go. Now I need to put away all of these ones that I have read. Okay, so now we need to pick out all of our books for July. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But let's get into it. In June, I picked the books based on what I was feeling, and I had such a good reading month that I want to continue doing that and have the best summer reads. Let's get into the best summer ever and continue picking books based on what I want to read rather than based off what something else chooses for me, because that could mean a reading slump, and we don't want reading slump over here. Obviously, the first one will be Wizard's First Rule, which I've already started and already explained. So this one, the print is tiny though. So yeah, I already talked a little bit about this one, so this will be the first one on the TBR. So excited. Now, I already said that there was a couple of these that I wanted to read, so I'm gonna get them back out. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. And The Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. Really don't know what else to choose, and maybe I will go book shopping later on this month too. But as of right now, this is my TBR, plus reading on my Kindle and finishing all the books, so. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have. Comment what books are on your July TBR. I'm so curious. And how many books you read in June and what those books were. I love talking about books. Absolutely love it. And then also, I wanted to mention I'm so thankful for the BookTok going off. So if you don't know, I am on BookTok. So this is me. And it's absolutely crazy because I started the month with 36 and now I'm at 1,107. Absolutely astounded that I could grow that much. Within like a week and a half, I got up to 1,000. So then I've been posting every single day except Saturdays, and I'm so thankful for each and every single one of you that follows me over there, engages with me over there, and I can't wait to have a bigger family on YouTube to continue all this. Really appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you guys have an amazing summer. Well, I'm saying it like I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye is not yet. I hope you have an amazing July. July is gonna be so busy with Felicity's birthday, cousin and brother-in-law's wedding, and then just so many other things. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video.